Wanted to see me, Uncle Rus?
Yes, thanks for meeting.
No problem. What's up?
Alright, so, the other day I was watching your carnitas videos. Kind of inspired me to cook a little pulled pork of my own, you know?
Cool. I'm happy to have inspired you.
Well, anyway, the other night I had a few too many and entered myself into a statewide pulled pork barbecue competition.
Wow, that sounds intense. I still don't see where I'm involved.
I can't make pulled pork. I can only make steaks.
Oh, well, as they say, if you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, you'll have to back out of the competition.
I can't. There's a non-refundable $250 deposit.
$250? What for?
Well, the venue, of course, and the prize fund.
Prize fund?
Oh, yeah. First place takes home 5,000 big one.
Wow.
So can you help?
Can I?
Will you?
50-50 split if we win?
Hey, man, I already got money on the line. 60-40.
You got a deal, Uncle Rus. Let's cook. We begin with our pork shoulder. Now this time it's whole. We're going to be using a little sweet and smoky big green egg seasoning. As to why I'm using big green egg on a Kamado Joe grill, just don't ask, it's a boring story. Now this fat cap here, we want to keep that. That's going to give us a lot of awesome flavor, so don't cut that off. We're going to use a little bit of mustard here to work as a binder for us and give us something to have that rub stick to. Now this could be referred to as a pork shoulder, pork butt, Boston butt. They're all really the same thing. You want to just make sure that they are not boneless. That bone right there that I'm brushing is really going to help keep this really moist and flavorful. So we're going to shake on a very generous shake of this rub. Now this has got demerara sugar, some chili powder, spices, garlic, and onion, but we can put a lot on there. This is a huge piece of meat, and it can take a lot of flavor that's eventually going to form the nice crusty smoky bark on the outside. So make sure you get all sides, give it a little tap to make sure it's on there, and then this can sit for 30 minutes on the counter up to overnight in the fridge. Now it's time to talk about our grill. Now, of course, I'm using nice lump charcoal here. I've got some natural fire starters in there, and this is going to go for about 20 to 25 minutes. We just want to make sure that we've got several pieces of that charcoal well lit, and that we no longer see active jumping bright orange flames. So when you're at this stage here, you've got nice clean smoke. We need to put our wood on there that we're going to use to smoke. So I'm using a mixture of pecan and hickory. I like the nice flavor from the hickory and the sweetness from the pecan, but you can really use whatever you'd like. Just make sure to spread it out throughout your firebox so that you are not getting all of your smoke in the first hour or two. We'll go ahead and put on the deflector trays that come with the Kamado Joe, the grill as well, and now it comes time for our pork. You want to put it fat side down. I know that may sound a little weird, but that helps to protect the pork from any heat flare-ups. My bottom vent is totally open. My top vent is totally open as well. We're going to wait for this to come up to around 250 to 275 degrees, like that. At that point, we're going to close the top vent and leave the little daisy wheel about 1/3 of the way open and go to about 1/4 of the way open on the bottom to hold that temperature. Now an hour into the cook, we're already going to be getting a nice bark on the outside, but I need to know the temperature of these pieces of pork, and by the way, don't ask about that second one, alright? You want to get these temperature probes as close to the middle of the pork as possible, but without touching any bone. Lid back on and let them roll. Oh yeah, now about 5 to 6 hours in, you may hit what's called the stall, around 150 to 160 degrees, where they stop cooking quite as quickly. But whether you do or don't, at that temperature, I like to go ahead and cover them tightly with foil or butcher's paper, and this serves two purposes. Number one, if you are at a stall, it's going to help that temperature rise more evenly again, and most importantly, it's going to keep a lot of great moisture inside of that foil pack or butcher paper. Get your temperature probe back in, and we will return when we hit about 195 degrees. You can see we've got a little ways to go, so hey, let's make some slaw. I heard there's an extra $500 prize for the best slaw, and well, quite honestly, I can't resist trying my hand. I've got a couple medium carrots, just going to take the tips and tails off and get those grated up on the big holes in a box grater. And now we've got some cabbage that need to be cut in in half. Yeah, just right down the middle in half. There we go. That wasn't that bad. Take that half and cut it in quarters, and now we've got this really dense woody core there that we need to remove. So, just cut it at an angle right down through. Now we need to get this shredded up as finely as possible, and you could certainly do that with a mandolin or a food processor, but I'm just doing it by hand. I've got some time to kill, and quite honestly, this is therapeutic for me. Is that normal? I'm not sure. I'll ask my therapist next time. Once I've got it all cut up one way, I'm going to go back through the other way, and this is just to ensure that I don't have any massive pieces of cabbage in the slaw. Go ahead and do both quarters, even though I only did one here in the video, and get that into a bowl. Next up, I'm going to take about half a head of fresh parsley, get that minced up and into the bowl, which is inexplicably off camera. Shame on me. Now we need to make our dressing, and for that we'll be using the real good stuff. That's right, Hellmann's mayo. About a cup of that. We're going to need about 2 to 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Depends on how zippy you like your slaw. I'm going to put about 2 in there. And because I'm a mustard fiend, I'm using both whole grain mustard and Dijon, but either or would be fine. About a tablespoon of each. Salt and pepper, and okay, I know this is controversial, but I like a little sweetness in my slaw, so I'm going to add about a teaspoon of sugar. Lastly, we've got some dill weed, about a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Get everything all blended together, give it a taste to make sure the seasoning is right, and what do you know? It is. Now I'm going to put about 2/3 of this dressing on our cabbage, carrots, and parsley mixture. You can always add more later, but this is not an exact science, and some people like their slaw a little bit more dressed. I'm going to add a little more because it's still a little dry for me, but when it looks the way you like it, you're good to go. Now we've hit 197. I'm going to use the thermometer probe just to make sure that pork is very tender. It slides in and out with no resistance. So now comes the hardest part of all. We need to let this rest for at least an hour. I would give it 2 if I could, and cover it with some more foil or towel to help as well. After a couple hours, I unveiled my beautiful piece of pork, and now the fun part. We're going to take the bone out, and if we've done everything right, and we have, it's going to come out beautifully clean like that. And then we're going to start shredding it, stopping first to admire that lovely smoke ring and bark. And then we're just going to pull it off in pieces and, shred it up into large chunks. I'm not, going for my final size here yet. I'm just trying to get big pieces pulled off and also remove any, just pure pieces of fat. Once I've got it all into those size pieces, I want to get it into a bowl that I can work in. And, if a little bit of that delicious juice comes along, that's fine. I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar-based hot sauce just because I'm a good southern boy. That's how we like it around here, but you do you when it comes to the sauce territory. Now using 2 forks or fancy claws that you can buy on the internet, just finish shredding everything until it's the texture you like. That looks just about perfect for me. Well, I have to get the rest of this to Uncle Rus here shortly for the competition, but I don't think he'll mind a few little pieces missing, do you? Let's make sure it's competition worthy. Wow, holy smokes. Look, as I said, if you don't have a ceramic cooker or smoker, you can do it on a grill, you can do it in the oven. All the information you need is down below, but if you can do it that way or any way you can impart some smoky flavor, it is phenomenal. Summer's coming up. Now you've got a great excuse to fire up the grill. Now come on back next week for our season finale. It's going to be an awesome episode. You're really going to enjoy it. And if you haven't already, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and drop me some comments down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Until then, go make something delicious. Well, Uncle Rus, how do we do? That smells like victory.